Penn State and Boise State, they're the first game of the official second round of the college football playoff. They're going to be playing in the Fiesta Bowl tomorrow, which is Tuesday, December the 31st, 7 o'clock on ESPN. Right now, Penn State is an 11-point favorite. Real quick, if you like supporting independent media, I hope you'll subscribe to my channel. And if you're a new viewer or someone who's been watching for a while, I hope you'll hit the thumbs up and drop me a line and let me know you were here. I really do appreciate it. When we think about Boise State, what do we think about? Fiesta Bowl against Oklahoma many, many years ago. It was an exciting game. In fact, it was one of the most exciting games maybe in college football history. But this game is different. Why? Well, it's many years later. I'm not saying that you can't learn a lesson or two from Boise State. I'm not saying that you can't pull for Boise State in this ball game. But if you're basing it on the outcome of many years ago, maybe not the best thing ever to especially, and I'm not encouraging anyone to gamble or anything, but especially if you're putting money on this game. I wouldn't do it based on that Oklahoma-Boise State game back in, well, so long ago. I'm trying to nail down the year. Was it 2007? Something like that. Anyway, Penn State comes into this game after absolutely destroying SMU. Everybody was saying SMU needs to be in, SMU needs to be in. SMU goes in and gets their head beat in by Penn State. Now, to be extremely transparent, I've not been overly impressed with Penn State throughout the year. I felt like they're the Penn State that you always face. Penn State has a lot of talent. They have a fan base there in Happy Valley. They'll fill that stadium hundreds or 100,000 plus in there. But when it's time to play Ohio State, they lose. They didn't have to play Oregon this year. But if they'd have played Oregon, there would have been a chance they would have lost that. I believe they would have lost that game. And you're like, well, Brian, they played Oregon in the conference championship. I'm talking about regular season. And you saw what happened. They played Oregon in the conference championship and lost. But they turned around and they beat SMU in the first round of the college football playoff. They manhandled them, beat them by 4 touchdowns. You go to the other side of the football, you have Ashton Jeanty, probably one of the most exciting one of the most exciting football players in this entire season. It's a really good story. He's ran the ball for a ton of yardage, 2,497 yards, 29 touchdowns. He's on everyone's radar. Before you even know the quarterback's name for Boise State, you know Ashton Jeanty. Why? Because the man's the man. He went out there and put on a clinic. Now, right now, Penn State, according to whatever source you're looking at, it's easy to go with about 11-point favorite at this point. This is the day before the big game. We know that strength of schedule, that Penn State's actually going to win there on the strength of schedule. Boise State, the strength of schedule compared to Penn State is not that great. Now, what I'm about to do is extremely dangerous, and I don't recommend that you do it and base your predictions and so on this metric. I'm not going to base it on this metric as well. Because teams play other teams differently than other teams play them. That's a mouthful. Oregon just beat Penn State on the 7th, 45-37. If you go all the way back to September the 7th, a lot of things have changed since September the 7th. Oregon, at home, beat Boise State by 3 points. That's a long time ago. That's over 4. That's almost, I almost said 4 months ago, but it's getting close to it. 4 months ago. A lot of things change in 4 months. But just because Boise State only lost by 3 points to Oregon at Oregon, and they're playing Penn State at the Fiesta Bowl, where history was made, You can't, let me rephrase this, you can do whatever you want to. But I'm telling you, it's very dangerous to step back and say, oh, that late season win by Oregon over Penn State by 7 or 8 points. I need to go back and look at the schedule here. That means that Boise State is going to fill in the blank. Yeah, Oregon beat them by 8 points about 3 weeks ago. But I'm going to tell you what I think is going to happen. Here's my prediction. We saw Penn State come out strong against SMU. We saw that defense manhandle SMU. Tyler Warren is the leading receiver on the team. He's the tight end. You have Nick Singleton playing running back for them, almost 1,000 yards. You have Drew Aller, over 3,000 yards, 21 touchdowns, 7 interceptions. I'm going to tell you what I think is going to happen here. I think Boise State is going to accept what BYU had to accept the other night when they played Colorado and manhandled them. Yes, the other team has that player. In Colorado's case, they have the quarterback and the two-way player that just won the Heisman Trophy. But what did BYU do? They said, we're not going to play scared. We're going to be aggressive. We're not going to give them the chance to make big plays based out of our fear that they will make big plays. Ashton Jeanty, do not be shocked if this guy goes in and puts up some really big yardage. I'm not saying 300 yards. But don't be surprised if he goes in and has a good day. And Penn State looks at one another and say, they're like, yeah, he got that. But what does the scoreboard say? What did our offense do against their defense? And I believe that's the difference. I believe that Penn State is going to begin to suffocate everything that is not Ashton Jeanty. I think that Maddox Madsen, they're going to focus on him. They're going to focus on the wide receivers for Boise State, and they're going to take them out of the game. They're going to say, "Hey, that's fine. That's fine. That's fine. We're not worried with y'all about y'all anyway. We'll let Jeanty get some of his yardage and so on, but that's pretty much it. We're not worried about y'all. We're going to pin our ears back, and we're going to come after you. We're going to make Ashton Jeanty beat us by himself. And we just don't think he will. Don't be shocked if I'm not saying they're going to let Jeanty run wild, but I think they're literally going to put the game on his shoulders. Two ways they could approach it. Actually, I'm gonna call it audible here on the live stream. They completely take Ashton Jeanty out of the game, or they put the game completely on his shoulders. And you know what's going to happen with that type of defense? That is extremely aggressive. I mean, just ask SMU. I mean, they are aggressive. I think they win that battle. And I think Penn State, a team that I still think they have a lot to prove, because every time they play a really good football team, and no disrespect to Boise State's just not an upper echelon football team right now. They're a really good team. I'm pulling for Boise State. I'd like to see the upset. I like the story. But this is where I have to divide what I want versus logic. And logic says Penn State's defense has the taste of blood in their mouth. They're like a ravenous animal. And I think that that's going to be the difference. I believe Penn State wins this ball game. They move on to the next round of the college football playoff. I think this sets up quite nice for them. And I think that you're going to see some really good things there. I think they're going to see some really good things there. Get in here to the comment section real quick. Ask SDSU how focusing on run works out for you defensively. Bronco, everybody go check out Bronco's channel. He's a very big Boise State fan and has an incredible channel. I've been a guest on there. Bronco, my friend, it's good to see you. Glad to see you in here. Hey, I'm pulling for Boise State. I'm just seeing Penn State pull out this game, but everybody go check out his channel and let him know you saw him on here. Folks, you take care of yourself. Okay, so let me throw this out there. I was 4-0 in my major conference picks for the conference championship games. I was 4-0 in the first round of the college football playoff. So the pressure's on me right now, y'all. And the key to making good picks is not to be afraid of messing up your record. And for me, I admit I'm afraid of messing up my record, but I see Penn State in this one. Pass this along. If you haven't subscribed, remember it's free. If you like supporting independent media, I do appreciate it. Y'all take care of yourself and representing the Clemson Tigers. As always, go Tigers.